Hello, YouTubers. I know I said I was probably going to not do any videos during the week, but I have found myself with some alone time, and thought I would recap something I wanted to do last night, but just wound up not really having time for. So, you've probably seen the unboxing of this guitar. If you haven't, go ahead and watch it. It's in my videos. You've probably already seen the review of it, but and keep in mind that I am relatively new to 7-string, so this is kind of a new thing to me as well. But I figured that there are probably plenty of people out there kind of wondering, like, why the hell would you even want to bother with a 7-string anyway, right? Well, there actually is a kind of a reason. Well, there's actually several reasons you might want to do that. For one thing, you still do have more or less a regular 6-string on the thing, kind of, down here, right? But this extra B, I haven't retuned it to anything weird. It's standard tuning for 7-string, so B, E, A, D, G, B, E. So there's two B's and there's 2 E's, right? Now the B guitar on here isn't actually in tune the way it's set up. It's one note off. If you were going to tune to B standard, your G would be an F sharp, but it's a G on here, so you would have to transpose if you wanted to do nice full kind of chords. The way with the same chord patterns you'd use on 6-string. But really what I'm finding is useful is just having that B string in there as kind of a drone string, like a lot of people use it for. That's kind of useful. You can do regular chords down here and just kind of have the B in there. It's sort of a I don't know, it makes things just a little more full somehow. So that's another advantage. It just kind of it just kind of adds some lower end to the whole thing. It takes up that baritone sort of range that your band might be looking for. But there's kind of something else I stumbled onto. Let's say a regular D chord, right? Well, since you have the extra B and E, you can actually sort of just leave your finger down here on the G string and then carry those other 2 notes up here, and then leave just leave these 2 strings out of the equation, right? So now you still have a D, but it's more bass dominant. It sounds a little more interesting. You know. Right? So there's that. You can kind of do the same thing with E minor on that. You use the B up here instead of the B down there, and it makes it a little more interesting. You throw some trim into that, and it can be used to do some really interesting things. Now, you can do some basic major and minor chords using the, last 4 strings. So, I can do E like I normally would, which sounds pretty good and full. Or I can do E as a bar chord. And then I can go all the way back to D. So even the E, right there, has a kind of a different timbre and sort of sound to it, because you got that big B string in there now. And again, I'm not like some huge great guitarist or anything. I've been playing a long time, but I've never been like the greatest guitarist out there. I simply enjoy playing, and I know a lot of techniques. So just playing with this 7-string for a couple days now, those are some things I've already picked up. And a lot of people ask if the if the baritone thing is difficult to get used to. I don't think so, but I play bass too, so if you're a bass playing guitarist, you'll probably find the switch pretty easy. What I find more weird is when I go back to 6-string, the neck feels just tiny. And I don't mean that in a bad way. A lot of people say that, and it sounds kind of bad, but it just this neck's like half an inch wider or something. It's noticeable. But that's the only thing. But after I just play for a few minutes on 6-string, it feels like second nature again. So it's like switching from bass to 6-string, or what have you. It's not that difficult. One last little thing that I thought was kind of neat that I sort of stumbled onto is I can do, let's say, E minor, right? Right, and then I guess it's A, B flat, B, C. So I can do an E minor, and then as I'm barring this, I can play So I'm actually utilizing the extra string to play 2 chords kind of at the same time. I could literally just play the whole thing through, and like I'm playing like I don't know what the chord's called, but it's essentially an E minor on top of a C major, which I guess are all in the same key, so that tends to work out. You can also just kind of use that B as sort of a just as a drone to kind of go in there, because I mean I'd normally like probably play that like, but you know, now I can kind of get a little deeper with the B in there. So that's why you might want to go 7-string and baritone, or at least 7-string, because it just adds, you know, it adds versatility to your playing, and it has a really interesting sound. Because technically in a pentatonic harmonic minor scale, the E and the B do the same things. So that's why you can kind of play those strings together, and it sounds alright. Anyway, so that's just kind of I think the core reason why the 7-string exists. It might seem like it just adds 5 notes, but you know, really one. And again, I'm an amateur kind of player, and really amateur on 7-string. So you know, and I haven't even warmed up tonight or anything. But I can already do a few interesting things, and it's already kind of opening up what I sort of want to do musically. I figure I'll probably write all my music still on a 6-string, and then kind of use the 7-string along with that to do some interesting things. I might write some stuff just on 7-string, but we'll have to see. Anyway, the video is long enough, and I have one more to do, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there, guys. Thanks.